Good evening, everybody. Matrix here, and here's my watch list for May 31st. Um, Lots of stocks in play tonight. Sorry for being so late. My internet is still cutting on and off, probably 7 times that I had to relog in for the past hour already. So tomorrow I need to get that fixed, so I might not even trade. As you can see, the market, the futures are gapping down huge because of a Trump tweet saying that he's gonna impose tariffs on Mexico, 5% tariffs on Mexico on June 10th. And overall, a lot of the analysts chimed in and say that this is not a good move for economies, and Trump is using this excuse to trying to solve the immigration problem. But to be quite honest, I don't see how it helps either. But who am I to say, right? I'm not even a politician. With that said, I mean, with the futures looking so weak, I am expecting a little gap up tomorrow to fill the gap a little bit. Perhaps test the lows of yesterday around this area and then down. You can see we have some resistance here. So this is 3.5 points away. So that's 35 cents away. Let's take a look at the SPY real quick. Right now we are gapping down how much? 19, no, almost $2 from the close. So from the close, 79, $2. We are at 277 right now. Okay, so let's mark that off real quick. 277. And I'm anticipating for it to pop up a little bit and test this area, or even 30 cents. So right around here, 277.5. We have interim resistance level. Okay, and then we also have this yesterday's lows around 278 area. So I'm looking for a pop and drop on the SPY right at the open tomorrow, and we could be expecting basically a panic down after that. Once this 277 snaps and stays under, I personally think coming over here on the daily chart, this thing's gonna magnet. This is a major support area. Then if it's gonna snap, it's gonna magnet down to 275-ish. Let's take a look here. Yeah, right around here in this candle area. This is the low of this candle. What is that? This is 275.23. Okay, so on the short side, that would be my target, 275.23 for tomorrow. Okay, and from there we might see like a cover pop bounce. We don't know, but that's kind of like my thesis on the SPY. I mean, SPY is actually in play, and it could be a stock to play tomorrow because I am anticipating a good range of like $2 to be had at least, right? So if it panics out, that is, I mean, if it's a pop and drop. So lately, for the past couple of days, we've seen the market open, pop and drop, pop and drop, pop and drop, and then chop back up, pop and drop, and then chop back up. So tomorrow we're at 277. I'm looking for a pop and drop, and then chop. But this time, because of the news, I think it's going to panic down. And once 277 snaps, we're going to the 275.25. Okay, so that's my plan on SPY. I actually might just trade the SPY. It's actually a pretty good trader. First up on the watch list, we have Dollar General, which announced earnings this morning, and they ran stupid. Let's load up some drawings real quick here. DG. Okay, so they had an earnings catalyst. They beat both on revenue and on guidance, and the stock is pretty strong. Right now, it's today it actually tapped 52-week highs, and right now the key area I'm looking at is the 127.5 area, right? We close at 127, so I'm looking for a continuation run. If it could run again, I'm definitely looking for a continuation run. expecting a dip out the gates to hold this 2650 to 2625 area. We have a support zone that it made today, right around here. Okay, so as long as this zone holds, I'm gonna play against it and long it, and anticipating it to reach the highs of this 128 again that it touched today. From there, will it break out and continue? We don't know. It's actually pretty tough to short a 52-week high right now. It needs to prove that the burden's on the sellers to prove that the thing is over, and it needs a day of like at least a few days of like a transitional period from this run up. So tomorrow it might not even run through. It might just chop between this 128 126 area. If it snaps this support area, the next area of key support I'm looking at is 125, which is the after earnings, after hours highs, as well as where the buy point was, right? The major volume and buy point came in at this 125 key psychological area. So I am anticipating 125 to hold. Coming over here on the daily chart, you do see that 126, which is my first area of support, pretty key over here, and then 125 as well, right? So looking at these support areas to hold and then get long. Yeah, so a dip and run on DG. Next up, we have NTNX. NTNX has terrible earnings after hours. What I'm looking for right now, let me see if I saved any drawings on this. No, okay. They had terrible earnings after hours. They obviously they lost revenue. They lost more than expected, and then they post out terrible guidance as well. What I'm looking for right now, the stock is really under right now. Let's zoom out a little bit. NTNX, I remember back in the day right here, I played it, and 2006 actually. I played it earlier too. I think I played it 2006. Well, it doesn't matter. Looking at it right now, I mean, the stock definitely has snapped a key support here of 30, which is very critical. It's definitely an inflection point from last year. The beginning, that's where the run-up started, right? Currently, the stock is sitting at around $28 area. Since it has sold off so much, I am anticipating a pop and drop. Perhaps it's going to do something like a Foot Locker tomorrow, like a drop out first and then run all the way back up. That's what Foot Locker did. It dropped out, ran all the way back up, and then the next day it tanked, right? So for resistance wise, I mean, this 28 area is obviously very key that we would need to watch here on the intraday. And resistance, I'm actually anticipating it to cover pop back up to the 29 area first before it drops again. Okay, so 29 is a very key resistance area. Personally, I'd like to short it from the 29 if it stays under. It has an average shoe range of $1.98, so $2. So from 29 to 27, which is here after hours, it made some support. Definitely viable as a thesis. Coming over here on the daily chart, I want to take a look at Y29, right? So over here in the beginning of the year, I said inflection point. The low was around 29.35, but after hours, you see that we are trading under it. So 29, 29.35, key resistance coming back up, and then I'm looking for failure from there. And to be quite honest, there is nothing really much holding it up. I do see a gap right here from 2017. Okay, so we are, I'm expecting this gap to close down here to 25.50s. Okay, so we could have a nice fader tomorrow. We'll definitely have to see. Looking for a pop and drop, looking for like either a parabolic pop or a double top pop. Double top and lower high kind of setup for NTNX. Okay, next up we have OKTA. They had earnings after hours as well, a very nice catalyst. They also announced that Zoom is one of their clients, major clients as well. So The stock has ran pretty nicely after hours, right? As you can see over the year, it's been on a bullish run. This is a semiconductor for the past 2 years, even 3 years. It's been on a bullish run. Okay. The stock is a little bit extended right now, but on the daily chart, we see that it has broken out of this inflection point of 112 as well as 110. Okay. Prior to the earnings, they were actually selling it off a little bit. So I'm pretty sure this is a kind of like a surprise for all the short sellers now. Because the stock is so overextended, I'm looking for a dip and run tomorrow. This is essentially a breakout right now, and we are sitting at around the 115 area right here. Come on. Yeah, we're sitting at around 115. So I am expecting a pull in at the open to find support here at this level of 112. Okay, and then looking for the bounce back up and perhaps break this 115 and continue to run. The stock has an average range of $4, right? So just looking at these two support areas to hold. And that's basically my thesis. So let's mark it off real quick. Okay, 112 and 110. Okay, change the color here. It might gap up tomorrow, right? And if it does gap up tomorrow, I am it really depends on how far it gaps up. If it gaps up over and beyond, I'm still gonna look for like a pop and drop. If it does gap up, it's very overextended, then I'm gonna look for the pull in. More like a scalp move pull in back down to the 115, 117 area, and then from there take that scalp and then perhaps switch bias and long again and see how far this thing can run tomorrow. But with the trade tariffs news, I don't know if it's going to be affecting OKTA tomorrow. So let's take a look at that. And finally, we have NVIDIA. NVDA, it's been selling off a lot of days in a row now, right? It's in a very obvious downtrend, and it's looking super, super weak. Like even today, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, it's been selling off. This stock definitely has an effect, or does take effect on the trade tariff news. So trade tariff news definitely affects it. These are just some old drawings here. Looking on the daily chart, I mean, to me, it has snapped a very key support area of 140 right here, right? This 140 extends all the way back to the early of the year. Now it's close under it, so as long as it stays under the 140, my thesis is still going to be short tomorrow. Okay, and with that said, I'm looking for a pop and drop. That's pretty obvious. Let's take a look at 140 here. My target here, I am anticipating 136.35 to give it some sort of a support. I think it's playing this bar right here so far, the low 136.40. Okay, so that's a very viable support area, as you can see, to target off of. So 136.40. Okay. NVDA has an average range of $5.50, $5.67. So looking for a pop and drop, definitely looking for some resistance here at this 140.50 to $140 area. It might pop through the 140 a little bit, but wick out. And I personally want to see it wick out and then see what happens from there. If it holds the 140 or stays under the 140. So my signal would be a confirmation under 140, then I would jam it in and ride it down. Obviously, first test here is the 138s as well. So this could be a target. And yeah, that's basically pretty much it. Where is it sitting at right now? It's sitting at around the 139. So at right around yesterday's low. So very key what it does pre-market. With the market overall gapping down, I am expecting it to be gapping down as well. So definitely a pop and drop. Also, we'll be watching this 139 yesterday's closing price or today's closing price line, right? This 139.11 might just hold it down, or it wouldn't be able to get it back up to the 140. Okay, so NVDA really like the short on this one because of the overall market. And that's basically it for my watch list this evening. I hope you guys enjoyed what you watch. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys out bright and early tomorrow. Thank you. Ciao.